Good evening. You're listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I'm your host, Rob, broadcasting to you in the Pine Hills Palace, deep down in the Extreme Studios. I have from the Great Midwest One, RDV, who is north of where I'm located, which is, of course, the Pine Hills Palace, west of Orlando, Florida. And RDV, we're going back to Season 2, Episode 3 of The Old Man. This, I don't want to call it a spy thriller because it's almost like an action, but let's just call it a family drama. And it's an interesting episode. Boy, there's a lot of shit going on.
A lot of stuff, and like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on, and then there's also this slowly piecing together, piece by piece.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you're spot on when you say family drama. This is family drama because now, at the end of last episode, for a refresher, we had Dan Chase, and then we had John Lithgow's character. They went to searching for Angela, who had been abducted by Hamzad, and they got him. They basically, the guide wasn't their guide. He turned out to be the Taliban spy. They made their way. Dan Chase, Jeff Bridges' character, is injured. They go to a cave that Abby used to hide from her husband so they patch him up. At the end of the episode, Hamzad walks in, raises that gun up. This episode starts off with a bang. It starts off literally with Hamzad being shot by John Lithgow's character, and Abby outside hears Angela outside the cave. She basically could come, but in order to hide her, it was turned out that Hamzad was going to take her there and put her there because he knew about the cave and he was going to have her either. But he came across Dan Chase first because he heard noise there first. He walked in. So she runs in, she's got her gun drawn, and then she sees Hamzad on the floor, and she sees Jeff Bridges' character, and she's kind of shocked. Like, how the heck did you get here? What's going on? And a classic case, basically, knew this was going to happen because this is her real dad. She's like, I don't care if you about any of this or no process, whatever. You're going to help me save him, take him back to his camp. And he's like, I can't go back there. Because in a split session, because Jeff Bridges realizes at that thing, he knows he's going to lose Emily, aka Angela, forever if he does not do this. So he agrees. John Lithgow's furious because
this is some of the best part of the episode, in my opinion.
I love this. So he wants to get out of there. Meanwhile, what's going on? You have Omar Epps. Sorry, that's Omar. Yeah, but Omar is the Taliban guy, basically, that tried to kill both those guys, and he's now wants to see he's in the village. He's looking for Hamzad, and he's not there. He's met by her name is supposed to be Kadja. She's supposed, whatever. Kahida. She's basically Hamzad's right woman, basically a woman is woman or right hand woman in command. And the Taliban are there. They want to speak to him, but he's not there. Then her son pops up. So, and I'm thinking right away when I see this, and because they don't really, maybe I'm reading into it. Maybe Hamzad has another kid, and I know this. Yeah,
if he's got a harem of women, we don't know.
We don't know. But this guy Tariq shows up in a helicopter, and he offers Omar cash money. He says this will hold you over, blah blah blah, and basically we also learned that that the Taliban have pretty much taken over the mining operation. Some other guy basically has frozen their money. Some guy, I forget what they say his name is. They mentioned
his name is Morgan, and this is where to me you go, if you haven't paid attention to what's going on in verbal dialogue, you're not going to get it.
Is Morgan? I'm trying to think of, is Morgan from the very beginning, the first season?
Yeah, he's the one that's like
the old man.
Yeah, and so the thing with Morgan is, like I said, there's several different. This isn't an A versus B thing. It's A versus B versus C.
Yeah, Jan Chase's father. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was because I couldn't remember what his. I remember their old guy in there.
I want to say that was Joel Gray.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was like 90 years old. Like he's
Rima Williams.
Big guy. He was in Rima Williams.
Yeah.
We thought, is he the old man that they're referencing? Somebody in political Washington D.C. in charge. We don't know.
We learned that he froze Hamzad's operation as far as their money, all their bank account stuff. So they're kind of screwed over. So now they're like, oh crap, that means they're gonna bring Joel Grey back. That'd be awesome, the actor. And so this is causing problems between the Taliban and Hazmat's. Basically, a little agreement he has with them. As long as they get paid, they leave him alone. And so, so basically, Dan Chase, Jeff Bridges is gonna they're gonna help him get out, but yeah, and Hazmat says to Abby or Emily, "You're not coming, you're not coming with me, Angela. Yeah, because they'll kill you. Meanwhile, Omar wants to talk to them, but he also wants to see the woman. He wants to who is this FBI woman, this American woman? Well, and then the thing is, things just break loose. Hell breaks loose because I believe her name is Faruza. She's the one that basically was Emily's cousin, Emily Angela's cousin. Her son is out there in the middle of this thing, and he walks out, and then Omar sees him, asks him, "Hey, have you seen a woman right here?" Okay, and so she runs out. Yes, it squeaks. Thank you. For those who know, that's Rob's dogs who got the zoomies.
That's Daisy, my German Shepherd, Czechoslovakian Shorehead Red non-working line.
Yeah, so Faruza's son goes out there, and Omar, being the Taliban douchebag he is, with the eye patch, because he lost his eye pretty much, thanks to Dan Chase, aka Jeff Bridges, last episode. So she runs out and they shoot her. She dies. Her kid watches this, and then all hell breaks loose. And then they all get both groups start shooting each other. After the Taliban have all the Iranian weapons that are left behind, or they have clearly it looks like American military Humvees with
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
So I'm thinking how could you just not be political? But honestly, okay, so. That was tragic.
Let me pause you right there because there's a lot going on.
I gotta say that was a tragic scene for me.
It was
first character died.
It was tragic. You're right.
Yeah.
It was very powerful, and they could have gone a lot of different ways with it because the thing that you mentioned before about them both kind of realizing in their own way, even when they're talking without her around, that you're going to lose her as the person you know her as if you're not here with her. And if that's important to you, you'll tag along. Because John Lithgow's trying to get them out. He's got the hookup on the outside, right, with the copter, which will come into play, right? So they're following her, and then they stooge on a guy that is kind of walking around too, and you see a family bonding moment between Chase and her, where he's injured, of course, but he manages to kind of take out one of the dudes there, and she kind of helps not make sure the guy doesn't reach the gun while he's choking him out. So it's nice that you have a strangulation between son and daughter and an evil person to kind of bond you, to sit there and say, okay, we're born in blood together. We'll work together.
I love how she grabs his hand because guys want to reach for the gun, and she's and she holds it, and she looks at the guy, and Dan looks on his daughter, and it's just because they'd mentioned she'd mentioned I'm just like you, because he originally want to go down, to get on there.
Good reference. Well, the other thing too is, I know you weren't necessarily the biggest fan as her as an actress. If I recall, I felt like that was a comment you'd made when we were talking about season 1.
It was, like I said, her character is a bag of worms because they're not seeing the real her. We saw the FBI fake version of her. Anja, who John Lithgow's character can't wrap his mind about that her name's Emily, which Dan calls her through this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So he still sees her as the FBI agent, and she says, "I'm no longer an FBI agent anymore."
The other thing too is that when we get this standoff scene here, right? A couple things too. Kahija, or whatever her name is, the older lady that seems like she's in charge of running it and all that stuff from that perspective. I don't know who that actress is. She's obviously an older lady, and the way she looks, she's quite stunning. She has a presence about her, and you believe it.
Jacqueline and Antaramian.
Okay, she could be a nobody or just an actress overseas. I don't know, but she lends some authenticity to her role just because of her eyes, the way she looks. She does. And the scene here I thought was great with Omar coming up, because a part of me was going, man, if they just beat him up every episode and he loses a body part, he gets another like maybe gets his arm broken, it's in a sling or something, that would be kind of cool. But I'm going into Blade stupid territory. The kid, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought this was going to be a plant, and I thought if they go there, I will love it. And I'm not being disgusting when I say this. We know how the Taliban operate. We know how a lot of terrorist organizations operate. This show isn't about that, even though Omar's the head of the Taliban, right? You've got the standoff here where they're out literally outmanned, outgunned, and all that. And you got this boy that's trying to quietly walk between them, and everyone's just watching him trying to go to the front gate when Omar stops him. And I'm like, what if they took this kid and sent him out there to blow him up, like as a human IED? That was exactly what I was thinking.
Me too. But I'm like, this is cable. They're not going to do that. They will not do that to a kid.
I know, right? I know. But the show made you think something that was possible
because the way he's walking slow, and there's a soldiers out there, and they want to take out Omar quietly. This, yeah. But it's just equally just as tragic. He sees his mother die, and he's like,
that was done well. The way she ran forward and fell.
So that she's laying there, and she's still laying there. So when Emily comes back, sees this, she's pissed. But and Emily steals the horse against Dan. While Dan and Dan Chase and John Lithgow, or Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow are arguing, because basically Hamzad had already gone there, and he basically stumbled. He was dying anyway with the gunshot wound. And she follows after him, and she reveals, she takes her name, Amparwa, and then Omar gets so close to it, and she shanks him in the throat. Oh, I love it. It's like now we're seeing the real part of her. This is who she is. She is Dan Chase's daughter, or an Abby's daughter. The way she's been raised, you know, and because Abby was also a very
where'd that come from?
Yeah, exactly. So after you see Omar crawling away, and he's like pretty much choking, and then she comes up and just pops him 2 in the head, and just proves that she's a badass. But before this, you brought that woman, the one that's commanding the scene, not Farouk, or not Kahija. Basically, she, in order to save the kid, so she walks up, she pulls her handgun, she kills 2 guys, and then grabs the kid. And then I'm like, and not even breaking. There's no hesitation. She just goes pop, pop. I was like,
and she looked like she knew how to handle a gun and everything else there too. Absolutely,
it is absolutely authentic. It is. Now the problem is now they've Omar's dead at the end of this episode. He's dead now. He's like the nephew of some Taliban leader, or I guess whatever. So they're gonna have problems now because of this. And if Hamzad does survive, people, because he did kneel over, he didn't die, but
he's not dead.
No, so Dan's now stuck here with him. But also this, in order to help them out, after shanked them against his better judgment, John Lithgow calls a favor from Marion, and she basically brings a helicopter. He's like, I don't give a shit about rubber. He's like, my career is pretty much over as it is. It's my ass on the line. If I die, you're not going to get no over. And comes in, shoots him, comes out of the village. The helicopter just basically starts lighting it up with the machine guns and then the missiles, and just like it is just chaos. And then it flies away. And so now, like I said, now all 3 people are stuck there.
I think that's an accurate representation of how, at least for the most part, we think of American versus terrorist organizations, in that we have superior firepower, training, technology, and all that. And you have people that are barely functionally literate as a class of people for lots of reasons. And the only way they're going to learn is by a merc or somebody that, is a spook that's just making more money on the side, disavowed USA, angry person, all that. Mm-hmm. So I hope that the show doesn't keep leaning into the CIA is really funding the terrorist, Taliban organization in the 80s, and all that. But, they do play off both sides, and we all know that today. But for something that's supposed to happen back in the 80s and how it's relevant to today, they haven't explained one thing, and that's, other than as a resource, what good is the lithium mine? And do you wonder, well, if it was uranium or something like that, you immediately think bombs.
You bring that up. That was 3 Days of the Condor. It was all about oil.
Yes.
This is about lithium. And what do the Americans have interest in that, as far as that? Because the fact that we don't, Marion as apparently she's in charge of the whole entire the new CIA stuff, where John Lithgow's character is kind of out now. So
transitioning to the new guard, the new people, the way they think about stuff.
And she wanted dinner. She wanted dinner with them, and even John Lithgow's like, that's not what you want, but I don't care, whatever. Like, you do what you need to do what you need to do. And then And so it's like, whew. But so eventually we're gonna see. Eventually we'll see her Marion. They have an actress. The actress is Janet McTeer, plays Marion. But man, so I also want to talk about Amir Maluko. He's Tariq. He's the son of Khadija.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the back, and then I want to see what's going to go on with more of him because, like I said, is he Emily's half brother? You know, because obviously this woman is very loyal to Hamzad. Like obviously, like you almost like they are an older couple, married couple.
Right.
They don't really show their affection, but you can tell that she has very great respect for him. She cares for him.
Yes.
So I'm and this guy looks about the same age as Emily, and it could be very possible that they are related. So, so you're going to see it's possible you can see two siblings meeting each other for the first time and having different opinions. Dan Chase being there, and I remember everybody heard the stories about the Baba Yaga, whatever, the version Dan Chase and his character going around CIA and just would murder anybody for Hamas. They're so loyal. It's just like his rabid American dog. It was just, yeah. So I'm curious to see what's going to go on with this show. It's a very good show. And if you're not watching this, man, there isn't that much to, I say there's not much to watch as far as TV unless you're watching Law and Order. That's pretty much about it's in. Law and Order or TLC, whatever. If you're looking for a good show, this, like I said, it's got spy elements in here, but it's also got action, drama, and just one of those things we talk about. Who can you trust?
I'll bring this up real quick about Emily's character. I kind of like the idea. It seemed convenient that she was related to him or whatever. I get it because obviously that's not the focus. Immediately I see her. I'm not going to say she's going to become a terrorist, but running the leader of that town, maybe against the Taliban or working with them. I don't know. I certainly don't want to see her and Omar get into a love interest thing. That would suck because the show's not about that. The one thing about her is I'll say this. She's got a peppermint patty kind of look to her because she's heavily freckled. She's not ugly.
No.
It's not what I would call a typical model or TV look for a woman.
No.
And the reason why I bring that up is because we see her as somebody that's pretty down to earth, not too butch, not whatever. No, competent for the job. She's well cast.
They don't glamour up.
Right. And she I was impressed by her ability to show that character in the first season, transition to this one here that's basically like, pre-Death Wish 3 Charles Bronson, right? Where she's starting to turn into a stone cold killer, even though she's very emotional. And it's not a daddy didn't love me issue. It's which daddy do I love most issue, which that's an interesting situation.
She's been lied to her whole entire time. She hasn't known anything about, she's told anything about her real father. Abby didn't want her to know about that. And also this episode is the first time we get to see her and Dan Chase together in the series. Up to this point, they've only talked on the phone. In the first episodes, they talked a little bit, and now he actually gets to see Emily, the way he interacts with her. Jeff Bridges' character, it just sells the show even more.
Well, we didn't really talk too much about her when she was, kind of brought in or whatever, and how he was showing her videos, basically trying to let her come to the conclusion of, the fight that they had. It's like, we could see the beginning of what was going to happen in this episode, at least then, right? So that makes a bit more sense now, thinking about, okay, I see why they put that in that episode, how it's coming to here. I can believe her holding the guy's arm so she doesn't get the gun, so daddy can choke him out. And you're right. We get the lead up to it when him and John Lithgow are on the horses talking and basically saying, hey, in that moment I would have lost that one forever. But she said it's really important for you to understand, to be here now with me behind that. And then he says like the same thing to her, because as a dad he wants to take over, and that's the scene behind the rock where they're getting ready to wipe the two dudes out, and he goes to choke the one out. So it's kind of like that's good. You think it's immaterial or just a way to get to get from point A to point B, but there's character development in that happening, which is what I like. Because frankly, the shootout, while tense, I could care less about it. The town should have gotten raised, but
the dialogue,
that's the thing.
The dialogue in the photo right there, where they're behind the rock. She's like, "I'll take care of it." She's like, "No, I can take care of myself." He's like, "Well, guess what? Just like Hamzad's important to you, keep it alive. this is important to me. You stay behind me. I love he this throws a line right back in her face a little bit. This is like I said, they haven't seen each other in a long time. We were told in the beginning of the first season, because she wanted to cover, and she's been his it's how he has ears to the ground. She is his undercover mole in the FBI and everything. And now at the end of this, and walking away from the end of this last episode, we're now, she has 3 names now. She has Parmois. She learned about last episode, and now she's also Emily and Abby. I mean, this kid's going to be seriously messed up, despite her being older. It's like you learn about who you were, and she's going to be confused. Even they talked about this. John Lithgow's character. He's like, she's not gonna. There's a chance that she may not ever be at Emily again. She might just be Parwan. We don't know. And but I love the renewed spirit in Dan Chase's character. He pretty much had given up by the end of the last episode. He figured, he thought that she probably is most likely dead because he knows Hamzad. Hamzad is an angry, cold individual that it's been about 40 years. They don't, give or take or two.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't seen anymore. And even Emily says, you don't know him. And it's like, so like I said, I'm curious to see where this is going to go, but I gotta obviously there's going to be repercussions because they killed out a bunch of Taliban. The Americans got involved, and the lithium mine is going to be an explosion at the end. I guarantee you, it's going to cause.
Lithium is you think of lithium ion batteries, that type of stuff that's used in cells and stuff.
Yeah.
But it happens to be very explosive. So that's the issue with if you're a believer in the green energy movement and the different methods of achieving that. Strip mining is very dangerous and all that, but it is a resource. The way
it is,
a lot of money is being spent on stuff. Again, whether or not you think it works or not, it's another issue. But I'm wondering if that's going to tie into something. Immediately, I was thinking bombs and stuff. But
will Dan blow up the lithium mine so Taliban can't have it?
It's highly reactive.
We don't know. I mean, obviously, Hamzad was using for the good of his people, where Abby said he wasn't going to. He got control of that. He'd become a madman.
Yeah, we got to see him shoot a little bit too, helping out in there.
So was Abby manipulating Dan Chase and the rest of us and believing that he would become a madman? That's why she hid the secret from him, and left, or it was Abby right?
Gotta go heel. She better surprise us all.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I don't think she will. But
good episode. I liked it more than the first 2.
All right.
Yeah, guys, I want to say thanks for watching, listening to this episode of The Old Man. We'll be doing episode 4. We'll finish season 2 out for that as well. Tuesday night, we got Tulsa King, the next episode coming up for that. That's pretty good as well. I'm enjoying that a lot. Anything you need to plug or finish up with, RDV?
No, like you said, check out this series, check out our Tulsa King reviews, and I'll be doing a bunch of those. And also continue to watch for Tuesday night polls for what movies we're going to do on Sundays. All right, guys. See you later.